Hey, so in one of the earlier videos, I had a comment about how to use this wireless transmitter to stream. And so I've been kind of playing around with it, and I found some really interesting things that you can do to add this to a streaming setup. So the first thing you're probably going to need is a video capture card, because usually you can't go into a laptop with HDMI. A lot of times it's only an output. You may be different, but I needed a video capture card. And it's just this little, I think it's from Andy Cine. It's cheap. I don't know what it was, maybe $20 or so. And it just takes a HDMI and transfers it over to USB-A so that you can plug it into any port on your computer. And then one of the things that was brought up in the comment is power. So I'm just going to show you my setup. I can't tell you what to do with yours, but I will say that if you have a rig, this gets a lot easier. And what I mean by that is I have, closer here. So I have a small rig V-mount battery adapter. And the reason I have this particular one is, number one, it has a power button here on the side, which you can't see because it's blocked, but I can turn everything on and off at once. Two, it has a lot of taps around the outside. Specifically on this side, it has a USB tap out. And what I did is I hooked it up to the transmitter for the little HDMI out. There we go, focus that. Okay, so it's actually hardwired into power, which runs off of these. This is a V-mount battery plate. I don't have V-mounts. So what I did was I got this NAND light plate. Okay, and what that does is, for some reason it seems to be upside down, is now I can put these NPF style batteries. So I just plug those in the right way. Okay, so now I can run the entire rig off of NPF batteries. And the reason I did that is because I don't want anything on here to have its own individual battery that I will forget to change. Everything is hardwired. So you may look at my rig and go, man, there's too many cables for me. That's fine. You set your rig up however you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But my thought was, as long as these main batteries are good, everything's going to run. I never have to forget to change a little battery on one of the little things. So that's why I did it my way. You're free to do it your own way. But the question was about how to keep things powered, because this HDMI transmitter does need, in most cases, a separate power supply. Some computers you can plug it into and it'll run it from the plug or from the port. That's not the case for me, and I have a pretty high-end computer, so it may or may not be the case for you. But if you have a rig, half your problem is taken care of, because the HDMI transmitter, at least, can run forever as long as your rig is powered. So that's how I solved that half of that problem. And then I'm going to show you the other side on the computer and how I fixed that without needing some sort of external power supply for the receive side. So now we're on the computer side, and what I did is I have this card reader. So I use this because it has different card slots in it, but it also has on the back 2 ports, so I don't have to eat up additional ports on the laptop, which is already pretty short of ports. So all I did was I connected first the capture card Okay. Then I'm going to put in the receive. Now, keep in mind, I'm just going to show you right now, but keep in mind the order, right? First you give it power, then you give it a source, and you start with the receive side, then the transmit side. So if you're setting this up, keep that in mind, but I'm just going to show you without having to worry about it. So if I do things out of order here, just keep in mind that there is an order for the connection to happen. Okay, so then I'm going to plug in the receiver right to the capture card, okay? And then here's the little trick. Because I have these 2 ports, I'm just going to take a USB micro, which is what this runs off of, and I'm just going to plug it in. Right, so now it's actually running kind of off its neighbor there, and I don't need like a power pack, I don't need external power. It's just running off of one port straight to another. And you can, of course, clean this up. You don't have to use a long cord, but if you want to make it a little more tidy, you can. But that's all it is. That's the power. So on the camera side, it's built into the rig. No additional power source needed. On the computer side, as long as you have enough ports, you can just power it by the neighbor port, and that takes care of that. You don't need another battery pack or whatever to run this. So I'm going to show you the actual computer part now and how I get it to be incorporated into streaming. So actually, before we do that, I'm just going to show you the power on procedure. So I just push this little red button on the side. You can see it right here. So I'm just going to push that. That turns on this back end power supply here. Okay. Then I'm going to turn on the actual camera, which again is powered by USB-C. Okay. And then I can turn on, and let me show you what I'm doing here. So now I just hold the top here for a couple seconds. And there we go. So now we have the receivers plugged in. It's got power. You can't see it, but it's got a solid blue light, which means we're good. This is transmitting. You can't see because I have this matte box on. There's really nothing to show. It's not really important. But I just want to show you that it is transmitting and it is wireless, right? So as you can see, it's completely sitting on the table. There's no external power. Okay, this is completely independent, not plugged into any wall power, and that's going to be important for later on. So now we're going to go to the computer side, and I'm going to show you on the computer how to do the software part of it. Okay, so we should be recording the screen now, and I'm going to show you how to use OBS. Well, not in its entirety, but just for this. So right now I have it recording the screen. So all I'm going to do is remember that we had plugged in everything, right? So everything's already plugged in. And this is actually fairly annoying because it's going to do this infinity thing, so I apologize for that. So we go down to here at the bottom, sources in your scene, and then we're going to do a new one. We're going to go to video capture device. We're going to go to, whatever you want to name it. Hit OK, and you can see already it defaulted to USB video. So it's already, this is already the screen from the camera, which is sitting, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 feet away on another table. So we're going to go to OK, and now you can see we're already there. It was that easy. Now you can have different sources, right? I'm not going to show you how to use OBS. It's a pretty powerful tool. So in this video, I'm not going to be able to show you that. But I just wanted to show you that you can, with not much trouble at all, incorporate this HDMI device from your camera to into an actual computer. And you can use that for streaming, like the comment said, or screen recording, just part of your video making. You can just have another source, and then in post you combine them, whatever. But I wanted to show you this, so keep in mind. So I'm going to get up and walk around here away from the computer, and what I'm going to do is I want you to see what happens. So pretend this is a stream and I have it all set up and I got video of me and I got 3 or 4 cameras on me and my live stream, okay? And I'm just looking at one individual thing. Now let's say part of the stream is you have to go and move around and show something. Well, instead of having a camera already set up, hardwired, plugged in, and switching, between those, let's say there's something different, right? So somebody comes to the door, and that's part of the show. Is I want to go answer the door in person during the stream, but I don't want to switch to like a phone that has a lower resolution. So with this HDMI setup, all I have to do is walk over to the camera that has the HDMI on it, and then I just get up and I can just walk around. I'm not going to actually walk around because this is a tiny apartment. There's nowhere to walk, but you can see that now I'm moving around carrying this camera as part of and it's being live streamed in real time. All you have to do is switch over to that source, and now you can walk around to your heart's content and include that as part of your live stream. Now, let's say a more realistic example that I thought of is church services. There's a lot of churches that stream their services, and most of the ones I've seen are either hardwired, meaning somebody's just switching between preset camera angles, or they have these big bricks, right? These like the Hollyland series. And that's not a knock on the Hollyland. The Hollyland and all these other brands that do similar ones, they work fantastic, but they're big and they're heavy and they're expensive. And if you just don't have the budget or you just don't want to deal with it, this is great. You can have 3 or 4 angles in your church, and then you can have a camera that somebody just walks around, and you can just swap between angles. Whoever's running the board, just swap between angles, and now you have a camera that you can take into the congregation. You can go right up to the stage, right up to the pastor. If there's a band, whatever, you can walk around and show the instruments. And it's so easy to incorporate into not just a post-produced video, but an actual real-time live stream. And so I hope that helps answer the question that was in the other video about how can you incorporate this into streaming. And maybe this gives you some ideas. If you stream weddings, if you stream whether for free or it's part of your actual job, some people get paid to stream events. I mean, we're talking about churches, weddings, things like that. You can make a decent living just streaming events. Now you can add not just one. I mean, you get as many ports as you can get onto your computer. You can add mobile cameras. So now instead of setting everything up, you just get every guy has a camera, and you just walk around and switch between the scene or the sources. And now you don't have to set anything up. Everybody just has a handheld camera, assuming you can provide power to it. And you can stream that way. You can stream weddings, you can stream birthdays, parties, corporate events. Whatever it is that you're streaming, whether you're getting paid to do it or not, now you have, within the reasons of the limitations of the device, right? So you have to remember it's rated at about 164 feet. I'm not going to test that, because it all depends on things like how many walls are in their way and whatever. So just keeping in mind the limitations of the transmitter, because it is wireless. Just take a second to think how many live stream events can benefit from having a mobile camera that is fully incorporated into the scene as a source with minimal effort being put into making it part of that stream. So thanks for that comment. That actually made me think about how to use my gear in more ways. And I actually came up with some really promising ideas on how to use the gear I already have to offer some more services, right? I can offer to stream events for money now, right? And this just adds a really dynamic aspect to it. So thanks for the comment. You helped me probably more than I helped you, although I hope I did help you. But if there's any other comments or questions, or something that you want explained, go ahead and post them below. I do check these comments pretty much as soon as they come in, if I'm able to get to my computer. So post away, let me know if this helped, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Thanks.